Hey everybody, Don with Brazier Toneworks again, and today we're going to be talking about treble bleeds. Now you may have noticed that as you play your guitar and you turn the volume pot down, the sound tends to lose some of the treble. It's more prominent in single coil pickups than with humbuckers. Some guys don't mind that. Other people prefer to have kind of a consistent treble, or at least more treble when they turn that volume pot down. A treble bleed is going to help you do that. Now, this is a pretty simple mod to do. It's non-invasive in meaning that you're not going to have to destroy your guitar to do it. You need a capacitor and a resistor, and we're going to talk about three different ways of doing a treble bleed. Some people only do or know about one. I'm going to give you three different ways of doing it. Again, this is entirely up to your ears, whatever makes sense for you, whatever you like. So let's get started. A treble bleed is only going to occur, you're only going to be doing it on your volume pots. You don't have to worry about your tone pots or your switches or any of that stuff. Can keep all of that wiring exactly the same. Here are the three different types of treble bleeds that we're going to go over. The Duncan, which was invented in essence by Seymour Duncan, the Kinman, which was an Australian pickup maker, and the oldest, which is the simple method of just having a capacitor alone. If we take a look at the Duncan treble bleed, you're going to see you need a .002 capacitor. Ceramic disc is the most common that you would use for this. And then you need a 100K quarter watt resistor. And you'll notice this one is wired in parallel, meaning that the end of one side of the capacitor is wired to one end of the resistor, the other end of the capacitor is wired to the other end of the resistor. In the Kinman version, we have a .0012 capacitor, again ceramic disc, and you have a 130K quarter watt resistor, and this is actually wired in series, so you'll have one end of the resistor is connected to one end of the capacitor, leaving the other end of the resistor open, as well as the other end of the capacitor. The third method, or the simple, is just simply a .001 ceramic disc capacitor again, and we're just going to wire that up, just that capacitor alone. So if we again start with our volume pot, we're going to be looking at the first two lugs, L1 and L2. L2 is the center one. Your third lug should be grounded to the top of the pot. Please make sure you have that. On a simple treble bleed with just the capacitor alone, you're going to take one end, it doesn't matter which one, connect it to lug L1. The other side of the capacitor goes to L2. That's it. That's your simple treble bleed. Going to the Duncan style, we have, again, our capacitor and resistor are wired in parallel. And we're going to take one end of it, doesn't matter again, and connect that to lug L1 and the other side to L2. That is your Duncan treble bleed. Now, if we move to the Kinman style, this is a little bit specific. We need to take the resistor portion of our capacitor and resistor, which is wired in series. We need to take the resistor and wire that to lug L1, or the first lug. The other open end of the capacitor goes to lug L2. That becomes the Kinman treble bleed. Now, what exactly do these treble bleeds do? The simple, or just the capacitor alone, is typically most found in like a Telecaster type guitar, where the bite and the presence of the bridge pickup, especially if you have that focusing plate on the bottom of it, is something that really, guys really want to have preserved. There's very little drop off of the treble when you lower the volume pot with just this particular mod. Now, the Duncan mod with the capacitor and resistor wired in parallel, the capacitor acts as a high frequency bypass, and the resistor helps to modify the effective control, or the volume control, of the pot itself. In the Kinman, which is a capacitor and resistor in series, the volume control taper, how quickly and fast it goes up and down, is not modified nearly as strongly as with the Duncan. And the treble bleed itself, though, it's more restrained, I guess is the way to look at it. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the values that I gave you for the resistors and the capacitors are simply starting points. These are mods that are very dependent on your ears, what you like, how quickly you want that treble to roll off when you roll off the volume pot. This is entirely up to you. These are starting point values. You can go up, you can go down from there. Again, it's an easy mod. Just pick which one you want to try, put them in. I have a couple of these in some of my guitars. I don't have all three, so I can't really demonstrate them for you. But they, again, because they are so subjective in terms of what they do and how people hear them, I encourage you to give it a try. find the values that you like, see if you like this mod, and give it a whirl. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you have anything that you would like me to try to demonstrate, please send me an email at braziatoneworks.com. And remember, tone, it's not just a knob, it's sound advice.